I don't have much to say about this clip that I'm about to play for you because I think it really speaks for itself. This was it was bizarre. I don't even know how to describe it. So basically, to give you the setup, they were talking about immigration. And basically, Donald Trump was trying to explain how big of a failure catch and release was. This was after Joe Biden had hit him on the failure of the family separation policy and how there's more than 500 children currently that still have not been returned to their parents. So it's been a debacle. So Trump tried to deflect. He brings up catch and release and how, you release people who come here seeking asylum and then they don't come back. But there's a specific portion of people who do come back. Watch what he says about who specifically comes back, and also pay attention to Joe Biden's face, because this was funny, but also a little bit sad and disturbing at the same time.
Only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ, they might come back.
Okay,
But they're
President
very,
Trump, let's
very
give
few.
Vice President Biden a chance to respond, and then we're going to move on to the
You
next
don't know
section.
the law, Joe.
What do you say to that? That was vile. That was disgusting. Listen, what he says is that we're against illegal immigration because, these people, they come over here illegally and of course they're breaking the law. But the people who come here and seek asylum and actually do show up to their court proceeding, well, the ones who actually follow the law, they have a low IQ. He actually said that. So do you want immigrants to follow the law or do you not? And what he's saying, by the way, is not actually true. Was it true that some did not show up? Many even? Yeah. But there were more policy changes that made it so more and more showed up. But the key factor that he's missing here is that it's not like there's just rapists and murderers who are showing up. As he stated, it is people seeking asylum. So we're not catching criminals and releasing criminals as he wants you to think. Disproportionately, these are not bad people. They come here, they apply for asylum, they live here, and then they show up to their court case. That's what happens. It's not nefarious. It's not a terrible system. If we're talking about something that's nefarious, that's bad and immoral, that's his family separation policy. But you just said that the people who you claimed previously that you want to follow our laws, they have a low IQ if they're following the law and they show up. They should just not show up to their court case and prove their case. I mean, to think this, you'd have to be deranged because don't they have a good case? If they're showing up, aren't they confident, theoretically, that they're going to prove their case? They're going to be granted asylum? I don't know what goes through his head. He's insane. This was a disaster for him. And after he said this, they started talking about racial justice in America, showed how tone deaf he was. And he said, he had the audacity to say, I'm the least racist person in the room after you just said that the people who show up to their court proceedings, they really have a low IQ or the lowest IQs. Now, in this immigration portion, the one thing that he said that's actually true is that the Obama administration, which Joe Biden came from, did build the cages that they put the immigrants in. That is true. There was an influx in migrant children from Central America, and the Biden administration did not know what to do with them, and they built cages, and they let the kids sleep in the cages. Disgusting. Dehumanizing. The cages should have been torn down. But now, those same cages are being used for Donald Trump's child separation policy. Now, the problem with this argument, though, from Donald Trump, just strategically and politically, is that at a minimum, the best that you can come away from that argument, if you say, well, you built the cages, is that, oh, well, we're both equally terrible on this issue. When you want to prove to Americans who are watching that you're better on this issue, but you just face planted. Not only did you say that people who show up to their court proceedings and follow the law have a low IQ, but you just admitted that, oh, well, I'm at least as bad as you. Because sure, I'm separating children from their families, but you built the cages that I'm putting them in now. You can make a good critique against Joe Biden, but not if you're Donald Trump. If you really want to prove that Joe Biden is and Obama's administration is at least as cruel as you are, You don't say, oh, well, you built the cages that I'm putting kids in. That's nonsensical. What you bring up is ATAP, the Alien Transfer Exit Program, which is what Obama instituted as a means of deterrent, where you take people who you're deporting and you drop them off in some random area in their country. If you do something like this, you are possibly killing this person. You're dropping them in an area of their country that could be dangerous, where they have no resources, nobody that they know. They're just basically lost. What are they going to? Are they going to live on the streets? They have no resources. That is extremely cruel. It's not as cruel as ripping children away from their parents. But I mean, if the minimum goal for Donald Trump here was to at least prove that Joe Biden and Obama were as bad as you, that's what you'd bring up. But what does he bring up? You guys built the cages, but you like the cages. So that's good then, right? They helped you out, right? And then he says, oh, well, only the lowest IQ people show up to courts. I don't know what he's thinking, because this is not good politics. This is terrible optics. It makes you seem incredibly insensitive and like a jackass. And, I shouldn't say I don't know what he's thinking, because the thing is, I don't think he is thinking. When you just say something like, oh, it's really the people who have a low IQ, honestly, even though that was terrible what he said, there's a reason why he drew out that word, really, because he was probably going to say something a lot worse. So he had to give himself a few extra seconds, just one or two, to try to be as nice, as PC, for lack of a better word, as he possibly could be when he was about to say something really terrible about people seeking asylum. Because, it's probably the case that we ruined their countries from Latin America with our war on drugs and our foreign policy. We probably are the reason why their country is in disarray. Let's not talk about that, though. The debate, in terms of Donald Trump's performance, I think it was horrible. Not as bad as the last one, but if you want to know more, please watch my full debate breakdown, because I put a lot of time into it. That's all I got to say about this. Trump is a clown, and this was not a good look, to say the least.
Girly Mike Fettuccine needs your support on Patreon. What a loser. Visit patreon.com/Humanist Report to support the low ratings Humanist Report. Sad. My views are much higher.